Hello, friend. And first and foremost, I just want to give you some love. Thanks for tuning into this video. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you might be going through a challenging time. You might be struggling to kind of find that inner belief. And I've certainly been there myself. I struggle with it still at times. I just want to share some insights that I've learned over the years to kind of help you build your inner confidence so that you can really buy into yourself and kind of define what that means as well. And if you and I have not met yet, my name is Troy, and I just want to help you in your life. And so, it is challenging at times if you lack confidence, right? Which is very real. Most people do. Unless you are a strong narcissist, you probably struggle with self-belief. And even then, hey, that might be challenging for someone like that as well. No judgment, but it's all good. But just think of the pattern of life and how we often believe that it's this linear progression we're moving through, meaning like life is like this time we're born till the time we die, and we travel this linear line. Well, in some regards, yes, but I want to kind of impress upon you that perhaps there's something else going on. Perhaps there's this evolutionary, like vertical growth taking place. Like, are you growing in who you are as a person, this inner core soul that you have? Is that part of you being developed and brought forward? And a lot of times when we don't buy into ourselves, it's because we're looking at that linear progression. Like, man, it's just so hard to get there, or I have this thing to accomplish, or this challenge I'm facing. And as you know, challenges happen over and over and over. And then oftentimes, if we only have this linear like view, you can feel distant from your goal or where you're progressing towards, and that could feel overwhelming at times. And maybe you're feeling that right now. Maybe you feel overwhelmed. But I want you to think about maybe this feeling of being overwhelmed or feeling like you can't quite get there, or you would never quite have enough, is actually an opportunity to grow vertically. And so just wipe away the idea of having to be someone, somewhere, or something. Rather, I want you just to look for a moment and just kind of ask the question, what is this allowing me to become? What is this moment, this situation calling forth inside of me? And so maybe you feel like your next evolution, your next growth point is going to take a different version of you. Like, you're not quite the person that can do that. I've never been this way. I've never accomplished these things. I've never thought in this manner. There it is. There's the art of learning to buy into yourself. And so what that looks like is you have maybe this long linear view, but when we look at this vertical view, you think of the parts of you that need to evolve. And so maybe that might mean you have to communicate your needs and desires more. Maybe it means you have to have a view of yourself that you do deserve to have the better things in life. Maybe it means you don't have to please everyone. You don't have to be a people pleaser. You can actually voice your opinion. You can ask for what you want in situations. And so you see how these inner journey, this inner part of ourself needs to be developed. Think of yourself as like a plant learning to grow strength and tall so that it can withstand the winds and the turmoils that take place in life. And what you might be feeling right now is you haven't grown this inner part of yourself. So your outer reality, the metaphorical wind, is blowing you around, and you're like this new plant that's just been birthed, just broken the ground, and it's not fully strong yet. And so what you're learning to do is to grow strength, to grow those deep roots. And for a tree to grow tall, it must first grow deep roots, and that's what's being called in this moment. And so rather than buying into the vision that's down the road, learn to buy into yourself in these micro little moments. I can do these things. I can develop my skill set, and shrink and collapse the paradigm. So what that means is, rather than looking in the distant future, like, just think about something today. Maybe it's three things, right? Maybe it's one thing, but maybe it's three things. Eventually it's kind of the goal, or where you get to. Three things that will challenge you, that will grow you, that will allow you to move into a different paradigm, a different level in life. And so maybe there's some things you struggle with. Maybe you go into social environments, you kind of shrink down, you grab your phone, kind of like when you get in the elevator, right? You want to grab your phone and just kind of look at it so you don't feel awkward. Maybe you just allow a little bit of awkwardness into your life. Maybe the next time you go into the train, the subway, the elevator, or you're just in a social situation, you don't reach for your phone. You just sit in that awkwardness for a moment. Well, there you go. There's a part of you learning to evolve. And maybe beyond there, you learn to say something, you learn to compliment people. And what it's going to feel like as you learn to buy into yourself, it's going to feel like versions of you are literally dying, because actually that's what's taking place, is your identity is actually what's dying. And so this version of you, the box that you kind of exist in, and I talked about that in a couple videos before, but it's worth revisiting a bit. is you have this box, this identity that you kind of like exist in, but that box has created the reality that you live in right now. And maybe it's a good reality, maybe it's not, but the reality is you probably want it to evolve and change because that's what's being called forth. This inner soul part of you wants to evolve, wants to expand, but it's like this outer shell, the box is going, nope, can't do it. Nah, not allowed. No, we're going to stay small. We're going to look like this. But you know that it's causing you like some discontentment. It can also lead to like feeling depressed and all these other things. And so, of course, you can't buy into yourself because you're not being stretched, you're not growing. And so, allow yourself to start showing up in these little ways. Maybe it's, you do something to challenge yourself physically. Maybe it's you start exercising a little bit more. You do cold showers, and even if it's small, it's 15 seconds in the cold shower, 10 seconds. That's okay. These are little things to kind of stretch and grow who you are. You start to expand the box, and this starts to, over time, change your core identity. And as your core identity changes, you start to see the distance from where you are now to where you used to be. And therefore, you actually build your confidence. And then what that's creating is a reference point where, wait a second, I can grow from this to that. I could probably do this and grow to this point. And so then new things, new opportunities kind of present themselves to you because you can only see, again, from the box that you exist in. So if this box that you live in now is a limited box, it's only going to allow you to see certain opportunities that are around you. And maybe those opportunities are very small or not that many. And so as you grow the box, guess what? Now you have a new vantage point because you're a different person. Your identity has changed. And again, it becomes easier to buy into who you are. And over time, you exist in this new box. You've stretched it, you've grown it, and pretty soon you kind of break the box. And then you just exist. And you change your perspective from a doing paradigm, which means I always have to do things. It's like this adding paradigm. Like to have joy, to buy into myself, I always need to be doing, and I always need to be adding into who I am. And that's a really exhausting paradigm to live in. You've probably been doing that long enough. And so you change into a being paradigm. You just are. I just exist. I learn to find gratitude, acceptance in my reality. I learn to stretch myself. I embrace my shortcomings. I honor them. I love them. But I'm going to stretch and grow them as well. And over time, we get to that hockey stick of growth. Remember? Exponential growth patterns. We want to get to the end of the result, and it takes time, consistency. Now, what will help you along the way is you might find yourself in comparison. And when you're in comparison, you're going to face judgment because you're going to judge yourself. And when you judge yourself, you're going to perceive judgment in others. And that judgment of others or perceived judgment of others is going to shrink and stifle you. And also, you're going to have this inner dialogue of self-judgment that's going to keep you small and tight. Again, it's going to be hard to buy into who you are. And so rather than comparing and stacking and ranking yourself against others, because that's what that kind of looks like, is you're like ranking yourself. Like, oh, they have more of this than me, and I have less of that. And you're in this weird comparison paradigm. That's the doing paradigm. Therefore, that I'm going to have to add to who I am to actually feel confidence. It's like confidence is something to be achieved at that point. I'll finally reach it when. But the reality is, and I'll tell you right now, is you'll never be fit enough. You'll never have enough money. You'll never have the right and perfect relationships. All these things. Until you just accept the fact that you are uniquely you. You are one of one. There is no comparison. Because when you're playing the game of doing, you're adding to who you are. That's exactly what's taking place. Is you're reaching, you're striving. If I could only be a millionaire, then I'd finally feel happy. Well, guess what? You become a millionaire, you meet people with tens of millions of dollars. And then you have that much money, you meet people who have hundreds of millions, and then billionaires. Not that pursuing money that can be a great thing and very valuable for you to do in your life. I would encourage you to pursue it in a healthy way. But you do it uniquely for you and for the joy of things. You just follow a process that you enjoy rather than comparing and needing it for something. It's like exercise, right? Like I consider myself in good health, good shape, but I don't do it for the other person. I do it for me. I actually enjoy moving. Like, probably because I started playing sports when I was 4 years old. That's when I actually first played my first team sport. And so I've just done it my whole life. I love being active. I love running. I love playing. I love to exercise. But that's actually how I experience my health is through that, through fun, through enjoyment. I do it for me. Like I might be out playing pickleball one day, throwing the football around with my kids the next day, banging weights with some friends the day after that. Like I'm just always in this state of movement. So for me, it's not really exercise. It's not like this thing. It's not a thing. It's just part of me. It's being, right? Same thing with making money or income or currency. I just think about adding value. Who can I help? Who can I connect with? How can I add more value, more value? And then when you add value, things often come back to you. Same thing with relationships. How can I add value to a person when I meet them? What do they need in this moment? Maybe they need good emotions, some laughter. Maybe they need me to buy them a dinner or buy them lunch or something like that. It's whatever, right? But there's other forms of way. There's other ways of adding value to situations. And when I'm doing this, again, I'm just honoring the uniqueness of me. I'm absolutely imperfect, have so many flaws, but I can look at those things and go, yeah, sorry, I know that's how I am. Yeah, I can be like this. Yeah, I can be hard to deal with in these types of situations. Yes, I do this, and I'm working on it. And some things I'm not. It's just, I'm not to that point yet. Whatever. But I'm accepting who I am, and that can allow me to shrink the paradigm and start to buy into who I am. And I see the things that I've done. I see the things that I am, and I honor them as a truth, because for anything to be a truth, it has to be true 100% of the time. So a lot of your disbelief of yourself is because you've put in a false paradigm over that, or a false belief. So if I asked you, are you funny? You might say, no, I'm not funny. Or maybe you are, like you believe that you are. Great. But let's say you think you're not. You're like, no, I'm not funny. I would say for that to be true, it has to be true 100% of the time. So have you ever been funny? Well, yeah, I've been funny. Okay, so you're capable of being funny. You're a funny person. You can work on that. That's something you continue to develop. But then what that does is take it as something that's lacking in your life. I can't buy into myself if I feel lack. And goes, well, yeah, I can be funny. I can make people laugh. I have a unique or strange sense of humor. Whatever. Cool. Then I start to buy into myself a little bit more. And you see, you do that over and over again in different situations, different scenarios in life. And pretty soon, again, you're honoring your uniqueness. You're seeing the actual value you add to situations. And then what I would say is also ask yourself, when people come into relationship with you, what might some of those benefits be? Because each one of you has a unique desire, right? Each one of us has a unique desire and things we're into. And so if I come around you and hang out with you, what am I going to get exposed to? Like, what type of friends do you hang out with? What kind of activities are you into? Maybe I could use a little more video games in my life. Maybe that'd be good for me. I could use a little more laughter. I could use a little more play. And if I hang out with you, we're going to get to experience that. If you hang out with me, maybe you're going to get to go play pickleball a little bit more. You're going to get to go exercise a little bit more. Whatever that is, honor those things. Maybe you're going to go hiking a little bit more. And then you start to see, wait a second. Yeah, these are other ways that I add value to situations that are just me being me. And then again, I don't have to be something different. And you find how important those are, because that is a lot of value. Maybe someone has a whole lot of something else. Maybe someone else has a whole lot of money or better looks or better shape than you. Fair. Maybe you want to work towards some of those things. Very cool. Do it for you, right? But they might lack some of the things that you naturally have as well. So honor those things about yourself first and foremost. That's going to help you buy into yourself. And then over time, you can develop other parts of yourself. So that is how you buy into yourself, buy into your vision. And then, of course, most importantly, is that you have to buy into your vision, where you're going, what you desire in life. Don't put it so far out in front of you that you don't have any connection to it. If I asked you, hey, what are some of your goals? I've shared this before, and you're like, I want to be a billionaire. I'm like, you have no emotional pull towards that. And so if I said, hey, what do you want to do? And you're like, man, I want to learn how to sell my first $1,000. Create something and sell it, right? Sell it, one of them or 10 of them or 100 of them, and make $1,000. You can actually feel the energy behind that. And so that means you're more connected to it. Or I want to learn how to just go talk to a guy or go talk to a girl and be comfortable doing it. You can feel the actual nerves that come up with that because it's close to you. It's in your reality. And so do that with your vision. Find things that are in your reality and then slowly put in the tools, the effort to kind of move you towards them. If you don't feel it, it's just this random dopamine hit. So you're like, yeah, I just want to be this baller, man. I'm trying to have $1 billion, whatever it is. And you can't, it's too far away. You can't feel that. So bring it closer and make it so you actually have some nerves around it. And then find those little edge points, those growth points that are going to get you out of your box. That's how you stretch and you grow and learn to buy into yourself. A lot of the things you will do in your life are just that. They're like a test to learn how you can buy into yourself. And when you're going through the challenges, the struggles, what you'll often find is you'll want to reach. You'll just want someone to solve it for you. You'll want to hit the easy button and make it easy. And the reality is over time, things will get easier. But initially, you have to go through those challenging steps of growth, of perseverance, of learning who you are. And that's just it. is you learn who you are through these experiences. You learn to buy into yourself because you see, like when no one comes to help you out, I've been there many times and I've wanted, hey, help me, help me. And many times people will help you. But if you solely rely on that, you don't really get the advantage of learning how strong you can be, how capable you are. So my friend, you're going to get through these times and you're going to learn more about who you are. And it'll be one of the most powerful things you've ever done. I'm sending you so much love because I know it can be lonely, it can be difficult. And sometimes you have to break down, but your breakdown is going to help you break through. So make sure you head over to my website, troyfontana.co, pick up some resources there, absolutely free. And stay tuned. I have my new book coming out this summer, Scars. It's going to be very special. And of course, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, peace.